How's it going? So I've been asked to make Prince William's wedding cake, which is the chocolate biscuit cake. It's really simple. It's actually no bake cake, kind of even a no cook cake. And I'm recording this because I watched the demo on the Today Show and it was just awful. I don't tell you how much of anything they put in. They actually show you a really bad product. So I've never made this before. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I do. So anyway, let's get started. Make this official, huh? All right. So I'm starting off with 3 11.5 bags of cacao chocolate, Culture, 60% cacao. You want to go with that. You don't really want to use baking chocolate. You don't want to use coating chocolate, anything like that. You want to use something like this. So I have 3 bags of this. Cheat a little bit. I emptied 2 bags in here already. Interesting time, but I'm not going to cheat too much for you. So you have that. And on the show, they showed you doing a stovetop, which is actually one of the really bad ideas because it can overheat easily. The second worst idea is, contrary to popular belief, would be to use a double boiler because moisture is actually really bad for chocolate. So what I'm doing is I'm microwaving it for a minute. Running it for a minute, gonna stir it up, see how that looks, probably put it in for another 30 seconds. And while that's going, I can show you this. These are my digestive biscuits. They start out whole, around about that big. I broke them up a little bit in advance to save time. You can see they're a little smaller than quartered. You don't want them to be crumbs because you don't want that in your chocolate. So you want them to be kind of small. They look like this in the package. Really good. You can find them at any neighborhood location shops. So you got 20 seconds left to go on that. My other ingredients are honey. I'm using honey instead of, I think it's agave nectar that they use on today's show. This is a good supplement, something that you would have in your house. I don't carry agave nectar, I'm sure most of you don't. Anyway, so I have 1/4 cup of honey. And this is actually a dark honey, which will go really good with the chocolate. 1 cup of heavy cream. 1 stick of softened butter. And 1 pack of digestive biscuits. Alright, you can see on top, still very loose, but on the bottom it's melted. I'm going to mix that up a little bit, stick it back in. Now, the thing I always hate about the Today Show is that none of their recipes ever really worked. They never told you the detail, they just like to show off on camera. I don't know. But anyway, this is going back in. Sorry to be doing so much off camera, but I'm using my iPod. I don't cameraman here. Anyway, but yeah, I remember growing up, I did a lot of cooking with my stepmother, and she would always come up with these crazy Today Show recipes. She'd print them out, or just like showing me on TV, and we'd always try them, they'd always fail. Remember one time we tried melting chocolate into the double boiler thing, and they didn't tell us how hot to heat the chocolate to, so we heat it up like a little too hot. And it was an Easter thing. We had these balloons, we inflated them, we dipped them in the chocolate, you're supposed to let them cool, and then when that cooled, the chocolate solidified, you pop the balloon, you're left with this really cool shell. Great idea in theory, only we didn't know how hot to heat the chocolate to. We thought we did alright. Maybe the balloons were too tight, I don't know. But we do this, we dip it, put them in the garage. All of a sudden you just start hearing explosions. It's like Vietnam in my garage. There's this chocolate like all over the place. These things explode, and I was like, yep, another Today Show recipe. Alright, that's 2 minutes in the microwave. Stirring this up again. This is starting to look like it's almost there. Might need another minute. I'm going to put it in for a minute, stop it at 30. Wants to be nice and smooth. Alright. And we go back in. I'm not trying to sit here and fish today, so that's not why I'm here. I just want to show you what I'm doing because, well, I do better than them. Anyway, so it's important with your butter that you want it soft, but not melted. When you melt butter before you put it into a recipe, it really changes the texture of the final product. So you want it to be soft. If you do melt it, refrigerate it for a little bit, keep it moving. You just don't want it to be too melted. Alright, I don't know if you can see that very well. I can't tip it too far, but it's about there. I think it's actually there. Once I stir it in, to get rid of all these lumps. Oh yeah, that's looking good. So right now, we have just a few more pellets that need to go a little further. Less than 30 seconds, I promise. What I'm going to do now, actually, is I'm going to add the butter in. So the butter's been softened but not melted, so I'm going to put that in there. And this way it'll kind of melt into the chocolate. I'm going to stir it up before I put it in the microwave again. So you really want to integrate it, and then the microwave will help really temper it all together. So, just so I haven't lost you, 1 minute, stir it, another minute, stir it. Did 30 more seconds, then I added the butter, and I'm doing 30 seconds right now. It's probably be a little more than needs to be done, but it's easy enough to remember 30-second intervals and try and be like, oh yeah, 10 seconds here, 15 seconds here. Let's make it easy on me. Not all chefs do. That's nice. That is looking good. So now, I'm going to add in my honey. Friendly reminder, 1/4 cup of honey. Fold that in. 1 cup of heavy cream. I'll soften it up this way. When you cut into it later, it's not going to be just one big clump of chocolate. That wouldn't be very pleasant at all. Fold that in. Now my cream was about room temperature. Something I should have probably told you beforehand. Keep your cream a little warm because you don't want to add cold cream to hot chocolate because then it's going to just force it to solidify. Here I go. So I should be honest with you, should warn you, I am actually basing this recipe off of the Today Show. Now, I did some cross research. I looked at other recipes to check their work, because like I said, I'm a fan of them as a resource. They're both the culinary equivalent of Wikipedia. Sorry, I don't mean to attack Wikipedia too. But, so, I used my judgment to guesstimate what they were using for quantities, and then I compared that against other recipes. So, this recipe might not actually work, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm going to guarantee it, because, well, I can't. Here we go. See, I've been stirring it for a minute or so. It's about there. There's still some discoloration, you know, some lighter and some darker chocolate. So I'm going to just keep folding that in. Just want to keep you posted. It will look strange at first, because it'll be like white, and then, you know, the brown from the chocolate, and it's going to look like just really bad chocolate milk, but as you keep folding it together, it'll all come in nicely. So that's looking good. Now I'm going to add in the digestive biscuits. I only did about half. I want to fold these in first, and then add the other half. Oh, would you look at that? I missed one. Alright, well this is what it looks like whole. And you want to break it up. About a quarter, but a little bit less than a quarter. But not exact measure. I mean, you're going to be cutting into it anyway. But like I said, you just want to avoid crumbs. You don't want to be breaking them up with butter or anything because you don't want to have a ton of crumbs throughout your cake. This is actually the part of the demo from today's show clip that she actually said like, oh, this isn't what it looks like. Something along those lines. This is not a direct quote, but she really did let on that like what she's showing you is not how it's supposed to look. I'm like, that's just awful. Like, why would you even say? Why would you admit that? But I guess I've been admitting a lot of faults here myself. But, I don't know. I'm not getting paid to do this. I don't really know why I am doing this. But all right. So this is all about mixed up. It's right to the top, so it's going to be hard to show you. But, now you need a springform pan. Now what I recommend, now she said parchment lined, I don't know how parchment lined she went, but I put parchment down on the bottom. I took the bottom piece off, laid it on top of parchment, cut around it with a knife so it's a perfect fit on there. Then stuck it in there, and I measured out the wall, and I took more parchment paper, and I lined the wall with that. I cut strips. It took about 3 strips to go all the way around. Now, I used Crisco, actually, ironically enough, as an adhesive to get the parchment paper to stick on there to hold it up, and that'll actually help pull it out. Here we go. This is going into the springform pan. That chocolatey goodness out of there. Don't want to waste any. Now, if you don't have a microwave and you do use a double boiler, be very careful not to let the steam get in, because chocolate is hygroscopic, which means that it'll just destroy everything. But it makes it actually really easy for a cleanup. When cleaning up melted chocolate, you can just use hot water and it'll just dissolve it right away. So I'm spreading this out in the pan now to make it as even as possible. And I'm actually in contact with what will be the bottom of the cake. So you do want that to be somewhat as flat as possible, actually. Keep in mind that the bottom of this pan will be the top of the cake, so you really want to make sure you're pushing it into all the corners and getting that to be as smooth and perfect as possible. So, here it is. Now I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator for, I have no idea how long. I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator until it solidifies. And then I'm going to make a ganache to put on top. So I'm going to turn you off for now, and then check out my follow-up clip to see how to finish this thing off. Thanks.